Hello and welcome to my channel, my little corner of YouTube, as I usually say. If you're brand new here, then I am so glad that you've stopped by. I do hope you will stick around for a bit. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back to see what's on the menu of our little old scammers today. In the immortal and wise words of Douglas Adams, don't panic. Sit right down by the fireplace and cuddle on up, keeping yourself roasty, toasty, and warm, as I regale to you a spiritual tale of one Tom Ellis. Now, I will admit to you all right now that at the very beginning, when I was trying to edit this up, I somehow deleted one page and I can't find it. I don't remember verbatim what we said, but I remember basically what we said. So we'll start with Tom Ellis contacting me because of something that I said that unfortunately back in the day I forgot. I didn't think to take a screenshot. Or maybe I did. Maybe that's in the second part. Yes, this is going to be a two-parter. Spoiler alert. Anyway, he starts with, "Hello, wonderful." He didn't say wonderful. He said my name. "How are you?" "Hello. Nice to meet you. How are you today?" I said fair to middlin'. His next response, in the next part that I accidentally deleted and so you can't see, was something to the effect of starting to go down the list of, are you married, are you single, all that stuff. So I said to him, diving right on in, I see, okay, and oh, that's what it was. He asked me where I was from, and I told him Queensland. I said, diving right in. He's like, yes, I want to dive right into the research. And I said, yeah, it's not my first rodeo. And so he said, how many have you been through already? And then I said something else I don't remember. And here we are at page 2, where I asked him, I'm sorry, how many what, dear? How many rodeos have you been through? He asks. Let me see. I've been actively involved in no less than 100 rodeos in my time on this mortal coil. What's your favorite rodeo? I enjoy ranching. Do you mind sharing a photo of you? He asks, because that absolutely coincides. And as of doing this scam baiting, it had been about 100. I'm guaranteeing you I've done more than 100 rodeos since. Fun. Some are fails, some are not. Well, I guess even the failed scam baiting isn't totally failed because you still get information and you've still wasted a little bit of time. They just don't go as long or get you as far as you wish. He enjoys ranching. So I said, ranching rodeo? How odd. I'm guessing it's been a long time since you've been to a rodeo, so you forgot. I don't really know if he knows anything about it or if he Googled it or if he's just being a smartass. He might have just Googled a little bit. It's hard to say. We will find later on that this guy is got more crayons in his crayon box than most of them. So, but ranching rodeos are ones where you compete in teams typically. And it's all but there's calf steering and all that stuff. I had an accident on a bull riding rodeo. Ever since then, I haven't done that, he informs me. Do you compete yourself in the ranch, not ranching rodeo? No. LOL, on a bull riding rodeo? Sigh. Yes, it was an even with friends, he says. Even friends are better than odd, I suppose. This has been very illuminating. What's your favorite rodeo? He asks. I don't care for them at all. Too many clowns, which he laughed at. I just keep getting dragged into them against my will. Too many clowns? And honestly, if you go to any rodeo, there is the rodeo clowns, the ones that most fucking dangerous job, where they have to try to, like if you've got bulls, and they have to try to attract the attention of the bulls to help the guy to get out of the way, like if they got knocked off or whatever, like things like that. Like these clowns put their life in danger to help save the lives of the riders. But of course, that's not the clowns I'm talking about, and not the rodeo I'm talking about. I said, yep, I call them yahoos, because of course, I'm sure you all have gathered, the rodeos in which I'm talking about are the rodeos of scammers. Specifically, celebrity scammers. I've had a few romance scammers. Most are all 100% celebrities that then go into romance scamming. But yeah. Interesting. Tell me more, says our scammer. Tell you more about what, mate? Be nice if you're more specific. He didn't say anything for a whole day. So I said, guess not, eh? Okay, then. Hello, wonderful. Indeed, hello. Hope church was well for you this morning. It's 5 a.m. now. What time is it? Oh, that's right, I said. 5:37 a.m. for you. I had my chats mixed up. I'm sure service will be good for you when you go through. And I'd made a whole bunch of mistakes in the scam bait. I am going to admit it there. And I did get a little bit full of myself, only because I have done this song and dance so many times, so I thought I knew what kind of scammer I was dealing with. I did not know what kind of scammer I was dealing with. So this is a good lesson, not only for me, but also for you all out there. Almost every scammer that I have personally talked to has all been, I'm a Christian, I love God, I'm going to church, I'll pray for you, and blah, 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 blah. Those kinds of Christians who are criminals, and I'm talking about the mafia, I'm talking about gangsters, I'm talking about scammers, I'm talking about any criminal that uses the name of God and says that they are Christian, are, in my opinion, the worst and make Christianity look way worse than it might to other people. Again, I've said before, I'm not a Christian. I have nothing against people who are Christian, except for when they inevitably try to use their belief of God in their hustle to lie, steal, cheat, and kill. That's my stance. So no, not a Christian. No, don't hate you all. Yes, 100% dislike of the scammers that use any kind of spirituality, really, but especially Christianity. But I had assumed, holy crap, I got on a tangent. It's a good thing this is a two-parter. I had assumed that this one was going to be another one of those Yahoo Cafe boys that were going to go on about, going to church and all that bullshit. So, first mistake. He asked what time it was, and I told him it was currently 12:38 p.m. It was half past lunch. It's all right, dear. Are you a Christian? You bet your bumbershoot it's all right, I said. And no, I'm a witch. I see. Do you cast spells? We all do, dear. Every time we use the written word, it's called spelling for a reason. Words have meaning. They can harm, they can heal. Words have power. You are right, he says. So written words have power. One can kill another simply by words they use, written or spoken, and it's true. Are you a good or bad witch, he asks. Of course, Hollywood has gotten it all wrong when it comes to magic and witches. Juju is older than the entertainment world. I see, says our scammer. I'm interested in what you know. There is no such thing as a good or a bad when it comes to magic. It's all the intent of the person. Magic itself is neutral. Do no harm to me, I will do no harm to you. Many wrongfully fear things like hoodoo and voodoo because they don't understand it. So, says my scammer, have you successfully completed a magic? Myself, I'm eclectic in my practice. I am not religious, so no ties to any one faith. I am spiritual. Most people these days, as an aside, do believe that if you say a witch, then you must be from some coven related to Wicca. Wicca is not the oldest magic, the oldest brand of witches. Witchcraft goes far, far way back, even further back than Salem. Just a little information that really doesn't have anything to do with this. But yes, I'm eclectic. No, I am not Wiccan. No, I'm not religious. Wiccan is a religion, a spiritual religion, I suppose. And I said, but of course, when he asked me if I've completed a magic. Interesting, he says. I'm usually captivated by mystics. I'm assuming he meant by mystics. Some foolishly say if you don't believe, then it can't exist. That's the ignorant way of most things. We all have the ability to wield power and energy. Not all have the mind to know how, though. I would love to learn some few things from you, he says. How to wield power and energy. What would it take? Now, of course, if a criminal knew how to wield power and energy, they would be almost unstoppable. And in fact, there have been many criminals in the past that have been damn near unstoppable. Capone only was stopped because of tax evasion of all freaking things. So yes, there are men and women out there in the world who are criminals that have been able to wield such great power. And this one is like looking for a way to harness some kind of power which I was not going to give him. And he wants to know what it would take. You need to be mindful first of your own energy and power that comes from within your soul. Sorry. Until you truly can feel the tingle of energy rush into your hands, you can't begin to shape it to your will. Breathe in and out. That was supposed to be thinking. Hang on. To be relaxed. Sorry. I don't remember what I was thinking all the time of being relaxed. I don't remember what I was trying to say, but other than to say, just you got to relax yourself. With every inhale, you bring in energy. If every exhale, you expel. As soon as you have a rhythm, focus on your center until you can see and feel what is best described as a ball of light. Says our scammer. Where is this center you talk about? Is it the third eye? I continued on because I guess I was taking too long, so we cross-posted here a bit. Push that light from your center down through your legs and arms. You will find, if you're doing it right, when you feel the surge, supposed to be of energy, and in the palm of your hand and the palm of your hands feel warmth. Where is the center, he asks again. No, the third eye, it's on your head, dear. This helps with sight and wisdom. Your center would be more in your chest, or rather chest area. I usually see a round light when I'm focused in my meditation. It glows, says our scammer. Well, that might just be your energy power. Next time you see it in your meditation, push it out towards your legs and put your feet into the floor, supposed to be onto the floor, as well as through your arms and out your hands. Now, pushing it down through these channels might be the real work, he says. You never know until you try. Of course, you will need no distractions, but she gave me a thumbs up. So then, what happens after channeling the energy? You also need an open mind that isn't scoffing. If you enter into this thinking, into this thinking that it's a joke, the magic will have the last laugh on you. Believe me, I've tried to move objects at will, but it doesn't work. I love to harness energy and power, but I obviously need more knowledge. Now, if you yourself are religious in any way, whether it be Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, go down the list of religions. In every religion, they have some kind of a prophet or something or other in which they were able to move mountains or what have you, like do a lot of these things. And there is in Hollywood the idea that witches can just bend things with their mind and what have you, Doctor Strange and all that. And the thing is that if all witches could use telekinesis, it wouldn't be special. Not everybody is going to be able to do that. With any of the other things, not all witches are psychics. Not all psychics are witches. Not all psychics are psychics. A lot of them are frauds. But I could tell at this point that this guy was, at first I thought he was just mocking and whatever, but he wasn't. He was trying to gather information, and he was trying to see if I knew anything. But I wasn't there for that. I didn't really give him anything that he was looking for. Because why? Why would I? Well, dear, you need to work with it. You won't be able to simply start pew-pewing or casting right out the gate. Also, whatever it is that you do will depend on the path you wish to go down. What kind of magics do you wish to harness and hone? I intend to hone and harness positive energy, says my scammer. And this is why scam. And he does later on try to explain to me he's not a scammer. But he was pretending to be Tom Ellis, and clearly he was looking for remittance. So, therefore, a scammer. Why would a scammer want positive energy? I mean, unless he was going to twist that positive energy in order to negatively get things from other people. Like, I'll never know. These are questions I will never know. I would take time and search your heart and mind to find out what path yours is. If maybe magic's practiced by your ancestors, it may be magic's practiced by your ancestors is what it was supposed to say. Growing up, you are sheltered by much of that part of your history. Maybe you want to explore it. Maybe you may feel the call of mystics and magics from other lands. I know I stated with the Tao, the Edao, then the indigenous folk, before I realized my path is with the Celtics, or with the Celts. Oh, I started. That was supposed to be started, not stated. Again, we'll get into, he calls me out on my typos. After I called him out on his typos. So this man was sharper than most. And he did call me out, and he was right. And I was a little bit humbled. At least about my typos. I do beg your pardon. I do need to do a walkabout. I have errands to attend to. Maybe I'll see you here later. Talk later, he says. Guess not then, I said. 14 days later. Hello, dear. Been a while since we had a conversation. Yeah, 2 weeks, I said. Well, we've all been busy, right? What have you been up to? All night, eh? But I was talking about 14 days. Because I read we've all been busy. I thought he was saying he's been busy all night, but he said all right. So I even misread that. October 19th was the last time you talked to me. Okay, maybe we should have said something in the space these past days. Do you mind? Who is we? And now I thought he had slipped up. This was a business chat, so there most likely was at least one other scammer. But I think I was talking to the same person the whole entire time. Even single scammers can use a business chat. It's true. I thought there was multiple people talking to me. There wasn't, but that's where I was going. Who is we? He meant we as in he and I. Listen, I have as much time for you as you do for me. Oh, that's so sweet, he said. I think you really care about me, and that makes me happy. Isn't it just? Well, I care about humans in general, I told him. I'm sure you do. There's goodness in your heart, and I know it. I'm only yet to have that first-hand experience of your nature. So, who all is talking to me in here? I asked. Well, would be back in the States before the years run down. Thought meeting would be cool with you. Oh dear, I see you've got your chats mixed up. LOL, are you saying I don't know what I am talking about? No, I'm saying you mixed up who you're talking with. I know perfectly well that you are aware of your intentions. My intention is clear, he says. Would be nice to meet with you when I'm in the US. Yes, I know your intentions are clear. I just said that. Well, this is where you got the chats mixed up. You must be talking to someone who is American and thought it's me. You got your chats mixed up. Oh, LOL, now I realize. I thought you lived in the US. You told me once you lived in Queensland. Yes, you mixed up your clients. Guess so, he says. Indeed. To save you money trying to use Google, last time Tom was out this way was in 2023 with no thoughts or intentions of returning in the near future. I see, says our scammer. This is interesting now. You mean it wasn't before, I asked. You can never tell, says our scammer. I often can. Why did you make that statement, yo, save you money from trying to use Google? And we're coming up to the part where he's going to call me out. I've already made a couple typos. One part to make typing fast, one part to being dyslexic, and a big part to not paying attention to what I was typing. Even though I am fluent in English, I messed up too. And I did edit some of my mistakes, but I didn't edit others. So I was just about to call him out on his typos because most of my scammers have not known how to speak proper English. That doesn't matter if you know how to speak proper English. What matters if you are pretending to be an English-speaking person, a white man from the UK specifically, and you can't type properly, that is a problem. You know? Anyway. Though I dare say this isn't the driest of conversations, I said. Indeed, you are interesting, he tells me. Oh dear, I would never say yo. That's a child thing to say. I'm sure you don't make typo errors, do you? Don't think picking on the little errors makes you smarter. And I don't think it makes me smarter. I do it, again, because these guys in different countries who are generally not Caucasian, pretending to be Caucasian famous people to swindle other Caucasian people and often even other BIPOC people. Anyway. I do. Then I correct them as I did above, so that my sentence doesn't look like a prepubescent teen typed out. There's a lot of people of your kind who miss a lot of spelling and make errors when typing. I've seen a lot. Besides, you didn't even let me make a correction and you were quick to making your smart remark. Indeed, that in its own isn't what makes me smart, in response to pointing out the little errors. You want to know? Interesting. You are a witch. What more do I need to see to make me know that you've got a sharp mind? My kind, you say? Which kind am I? Don't you know? I know very well who I am. I'm not pretending to be anyone but myself. Yes, and that's what you are living in your being, your enlightened nature, which you have consciously obtained. As for me not giving you enough time to correct it, that is a laughable lie, and a feeble attempt at manipulation. You had and still have every chance to correct all. It was supposed to be, but I said ask. Here we go. I'm doing the typos. That you have stated here in this chat. Okay, you can also think in that way, because of course you have the freedom to think and analyze any situation that best suits your predisposition. And he really does start laying it on thick with manipulation and mirroring and projecting. It's wonderful that in this day and age, I, nor anyone for that matter, needs permission to feel or talk in any type of way. Yeah, it's a beautiful, wonderful feeling, the goodness of free thinking. We all benefit from it, don't we? Some more than others, I said. To the ones who are practical and intelligent or more exposed to the complexities of nature and the universe, right or right? No, there are those who control and the rest that live with no concern as they are free. So, what side are you on, he says. I'm convinced that you love things to be under your control. You will find, sir, that I'm not so malleable that I can be manipulated and controlled, nor so arrogant as to think that I can control others. I see you like to be in between two extremes, he says. You rarely identify with much. You are like the water, if I could imagine that. I am Iafok, as gentle or as harsh as I need to be. There is a saying, facts don't care about feelings. Well, that seems horrid to say. If you think about it, it is so simple and true that you may... that you may wonder why more people don't live with that understanding. Again, another typo. He called me out after I called him out, and I am humbled, and I am admitting my own mistakes. Aren't you the manipulative entity, he says. Who are you, and what information are you trying to get? Now you talk like a paranoid child of the streets. No, dear, I don't manipulate. I illuminate. What information do you think that I have that I already don't know? No, you are too stubborn, headstrong, and reliant to benefit from anything I say. Nothing I say will change you from your chosen path. You don't know me, he says. Reliant, he asks. Hardly, in response to, oh, yeah, so I'm missing another part. He was trying to tell me that ask why the algorithm had brought us together. And I don't know where that part went, but at least I had responded to it. So I said, hardly. I haven't been useful, because he said that I was being useful, nor did anything apart from your chosen work bring us together. And in regards to reliant, I said he's reliant on remittance, because he is. Well, you gave your audience, and you reached out to me after 14 days. Why did you do that? Well, I did that because he was a scammer, and I was trying to not only waste his time, but also get information from him, possibly report him, possibly get him shut down. Stop him from scamming other people. I mean, it's not foolproof, but it's all I can do from where I am. I simply gave you the chance to come clean, I said, which you had no intention of doing. Wonderful. Not all you put out to me is 100% correct, you know. Unfortunately, you have to take that typo error again. Oh, we know much. We know how much is correct. I mean, no, you don't live in a village or on the streets. You did. You just got so good at the hustle that you moved on up. We all know that you won't stop until you lie. We all know you won't stop. You lie to yourself as to why you can't stop, though. Times are hard all over, dear. All over. Though you don't care to hear that others have struggles too. You can only see your needs and struggles. I guess your powers don't know me as well enough. They are yet to dig deep into my heart to see what it carries. Only you can say that, dear. I know what I know. That's all I can know. You know nothing about me as much as you can get your information from your sources. We've all got our struggles. There's always a difference when there are good intentions compared to greed and selfishness. Now, I don't know how he can think that he wasn't being greedy or selfish. I don't see how he could justify himself, but he did. You live in the South, which means you are able to have more education and opportunities than those in the northern areas. Because I had determined this because he was well-spoken, he was very sharp as a tack, and he was very witty. Something that most in the western or central parts of Africa are not. But if you go to Johannesburg and all of those areas surrounding where they speak Afrikaans, they know more about the English language, they understand more about the Western world, and South African scammers are 9 times out of 10 more dangerous than your Nigerians and other scammers in Africa. Say the name then, he says, to which I ignored. Never claimed to know you, dear. I just know what you do. And he gave me a thumbs up. You don't know me either, nor do you even care anything about me. Wouldn't be here this long if I wasn't interested in what you knew. I'm attracted to where knowledge, secrets, and mystics rest. I hope it doesn't get me into trouble someday. How much of these Southerners have you met on this platform? Most of these days, I said, I speak in Pidgin, not Afrikaans, to be sure. So you manipulate these guys into making them tell you about themselves. Let's pause right there for a second, and I'm going to make this fully clear. I didn't start learning Pidgin to manipulate scammers. I started learning Pidgin and studying it to be able to talk to them. Like, I mean, they're learning English and they're learning Western ways, not so well, but they're trying to in order to steal my money. So I'm learning the culture, the language, in order to let them know that hell no, you can't steal my money, and that we know something too, like we know about them too. You have been exposed. We know what you do. I want to throw it back at them to make them realize that they are not superior. They do not have the moral high ground. And no, I'm not saying I'm superior either, but I'm saying, like, you don't have the moral high ground. You don't get to take what is not yours. I'm not trying to manipulate them. I already know I can't change any scammer. I already know 5%, if that, actually wants to reform. I'm not interested in reforming. I'm not interested in their repentance because I have seen no remorse or repentance. I can't trust it. And hell if I'm going to let them do option B and actually get something from me. Option B, of course, is to confess and still steal. But at this point, this scammer started pissing me off because he thought he was smarter and he thought that here he goes trying to manipulate. He thought he had the upper hand. He didn't. And I made sure he knew he didn't. Introducing you into a bit of their culture. I guess Iafok did most of that. I said, LOL, no dear. There you go, getting it twisted and making assumptions. I am Iafok, dear. Fascinating, he laughs. I went through your profile. You are white, and also you raised the awareness of against scam. You're doing a good job, he mocks. I am not convinced that you are what you claim to be. I guess you work with the authorities too. He starts trying to probe. He wants to find out who I'm working for, who I'm working with. Is this a sting operation? Blah, 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 blah. He went through my profile. Now, there are countries that Facebook will not allow you to lock your profile, and there are countries in which you can. Where I live, I can't lock it. All I can do, the best I can do to lock it, is I can say that only friends and family can see my messages. So he could not go through anything to see that I'm white or not white. He could see that at the time that I had been that I've been sounding warnings against scammers, something that I had touched upon in my Stolen Valor video that I put up. It turns out, and I don't do it anymore, that if you do a review on a Facebook page, that review is not only left on that Facebook page and never can be deleted, but it goes automatically onto your page too. So that's how he knew that it was all those lawyer scammers, the ones that are like, oh, we will recover your funds. So, race is irrelevant when combating the robbing and killing of people solely for monetary purposes, I told him. I figured either you can work hard and support yourself without deception, or you are no better than a parasite sucking out the life of others. Why did you take the name Iafok? He asks. If you know the meaning of Iafok, then you know why. I'm curious, he says. Tell me. I see you are want to test. If I know, Iafok means wisdom. It's Ibibbo in origin, and the name, and it is the same meaning of my actual name, which is Scandinavian in origin. Didn't know that, he says. Well, it's nice to meet you, Iafok. I can tell that you are well into your 30s, he fishes. And he misses. Indeed, I said, as in response to nice to meet you. Well, now you know more of the culture, I said. I read and saw the name is an African one, Iafok. But why did you choose to take up that name? There are lots of tribes. Why choose that one? I legit spelled it right out for you. I think you skipped or missed it. And part of the thing that I didn't tell him is I chose an African name, which means wisdom, because I'm talking to a bunch of Africans. And if they don't bother to see what my given name was at birth, then I can give them an African name. You know? And sometimes they pay attention to that, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it means something, sometimes it doesn't. The point of the name is that it's wisdom. And so I repointed him to the part where I said the origin of the name. He's like, okay. I don't pretend to be African. Contrary to opinions, I also have no issues with those who live in Africa or the African American folk. When I don't like a person, it is because of who they are on the inside, not the shade of melanin that they wear. But why are you particularly concerned about Africans, he asks. That's the wrong question, dear. I love all of BIPOC people in general. It is individuals of any race that piss me off. You want to know why I'm hard on Yahoo Boys and Azaman? Why, he asks. The truth is I don't care if you're tech support, publisher clearinghouse, recovery, going for the puss. It's all about the country. It's not about the country, that I take umbrage with. It's the lies, the stealing, the harming of men, women, and children that I have the issue. The arrogance of the Cathay boys and the likes as they gleefully F over people. Do you want an honest yet harsh truth? It is what it is, he says. Meh, I'll say it anyway. While swindlers are wrong and despicable, I think the ones doing local work are far less cowardly than the pig butchers, the IRS, the RCA, or the BTC guys. So literally, if you're going to steal from people, steal from someone on the street that you can see the whites of their eyes. Do that. Even though that's wrong, absolutely wrong, that's more admirable, more gutsy, more brave than sitting behind the computer and stealing money from across the seas. You are enlightened on these things, quite. The worst of all is the stolen valor, which is true. Stolen valors. There are scammers. The ones that pretend to be parents or children of celebrities are horrible. The only thing that is worse than those ones are the ones that steal valor. The men and women that have gone to war for whatever country, given their lives in service of peacekeeping or what have you, regardless of if you believe in war and why people go to war, that doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is stealing a war veteran? No, that's atrocious. In the highest court of my brain right about now. I see. Nothing is permanent, though. I only hope things turn out for the better. Things only change, I said, when we decide to change from within. Yes, you're right, he concedes. Have you visited any African country? I have no passport, I told him. Sadly, So sadly, I haven't. I, of course, can't rightfully pretend to know everything about African or supposed to be Africa and her culture, as it is so rich and vibrant. I do know many who've moved out to the Western world, sorry, and those of African descent who were born in the West. With my heart, I say that, in general, the people of Africa are some of the kindest and sweetest I've ever met, as well as those from India and China. And it's true. 9 times out of 10, Caucasian people are worse than the others. Just saying. My father is a Taoist shaman. I am 1/16th Plains Cree on my mother's side. And just so you know, I don't claim Indigenous status because 1/16th technically does not mean much. But I have a lot of respect for Indigenous peoples, not just of the Cree, but of every tribe, every band, I should say, not tribe. I have grown up a minority in my own neighborhoods and schools. I've embraced multiculturalism, which is all true. I think hustlers mistake our anger at them for racism. As I am sure you know, grifters come in every shape, size, color, and age. It is not the race we hate, it is the swindling. I see, he says. So I went to say, I take it we are done here and I can delete this chat, yeah. But I couldn't send it because the page was unavailable. I don't understand how this all works, but I'm assuming that when you get this message, it means that he was reported and his page was taken down. But I've also been told that that can also mean that they blocked you. So I don't know what the truth is. The end? Well, of course, I've already spoiled it in the beginning. This is a two-parter. I know that this was a bit long, and I know I babbled a bit, and I am sorry about that. But there were many moving parts of this conversation that I wanted to get out there. Number one, the most important thing, I am not a monolith of scam baiters. I am not 100% correct. I do not think so highly of myself that I think that I'm right all the time. This chat in itself, even from a scammer, proves that I can be wrong and I can be mistaken, but I can be corrected, and I'm open to being corrected if I say something wrong. So yes, I make typos just as much as the illiterate seeming scammers do. Yes, I need to be careful and not put on airs and be on a high horse, even though technically I am trying to pew the scammers. I do need to realize that they have their own dignity, their own humanity. Like I have a hard time saying scammers are human because to me they feel more like soul-sucking robots. But if you really want to get down to it, they were born into this world the same way I was. So, do they deserve respect? Well, no, they're stealing money from people because reasons. Anyway, I'm still babbling. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for coming and listening. If you made it all the way to the very end, maybe give me a little indication that you made it all the way to the very end by posting your favorite emoji. I don't care what it is. Give me your favorite emoji in chat. Let me know that you made it all the way to the end. I do know that longer, at least through my algorithms and analytics, longer videos don't do so well. So hopefully you were able to stay. Hopefully you were intrigued and enticed enough to stay. I will be posting a part 2 because there is a return of our spiritual Tom Ellis, and you'll see the fun that ensues there. I hope you learned something. I hope it was somewhat entertaining. Take care of yourselves and don't get scammed, because I care.